I'm preparing for the NEET for myself. Food habits are going to be important. 25 lakh students, only 1 lakh students or 1 lakh 50,000 students are going to get into FMS admission. So working hard is going to be important, but working smart is going to be even more important for such a competitive exam. And also a mental training how to stay calm in a situation like NEET exam, those 3 hours is very, very important. Even with lesser preparation, you could be doing much better. The kid will learn this only with some kind of counseling which is required to be done.
And not every practice test goes the way they want that to be.
Being very clear, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do that. We should not be creating undue pressure on the child that, okay, this you must keep on wasting your energy on, this you must not keep on wasting your energy on. Reminded of a movie, Hindi movie, टाइगर श्रॉफ का मूवी आया था, हीरोपंथी. एक लाइन में वेरी कैजुअल डायलॉग, लोगों को आती नहीं और मेरी जाती नहीं.
Hello students and parents. My name is Rakesh Jain. I am the founder of NEET Navigator, MBBS Lighthouse and NEET Manobel. NEET Navigator is working in the domain of providing the most ethical and accurate guidance for the students who are looking for medical admissions in India. And in that pursuit, most students face one of the biggest challenge and most competitive exam called NEET. To discuss about the challenges that are faced by the NEET UG students and how can they overcome those challenges, today we have invited one of the finest management gurus of the country, the one who has guided and mentored probably thousands of CEOs working in India as well as multinational companies, the one who has dealt with the students who have cleared another similarly competitive exam called CAT or even GMATs. So today we have with us Dr. M.L. Singla, the former Dean of one of the finest B schools of India, Faculty of Management Studies, Delhi University. Dr. Singla has been the pioneer of management education and teaching in FMS, and for 8 long years, Dr. Singla was at the helm of affairs in terms of providing the right direction and right guidance to thousands of students who aimed big, who worked hard and achieved big. So, welcome Dr. Singla and
Hello.
Thank you for joining us.
Most welcome.
You have worked with some of the finest minds in the country. You have worked with the finest professors in the institution, and you have also tutored some of the finest minds. So, we want to understand, sir, from your experience, what truly makes them stand apart?
Hello, students and parents. Honored to be here speaking to you. I'm reminded of a movie, Hindi movie, टाइगर श्रॉफ का मूवी आया था, हीरोपंथी. एक लाइन में वेरी कैजुअल डायलॉग, लोगों को आती नहीं और मेरी जाती नहीं. हीरोपंथी. I think that differentiates people, students from students. There is only one, bottom line. How do you remain cool in those 2.5 hours of testing? Why I said 2.5 hours? Because CAT is generally for 2 hours and 20 minutes or so. So, like 70 minutes. उस तरह से वो 2-2.5 घंटे are going to be differentiator. And it's going to make the career of lakhs of students who will become doctors, who will become MBBS, who will become BDS. So, how do you maintain your cool in those 2.5-3 hours? Is the bottom line.
That's very interesting and valid, sir. So, yes, definitely most of the students who are aiming big, they work really hard. They spend hundreds of hours on studying. So, in your experience, what was the core trait besides for that hard work and intelligence?
We generally say that working hard is important, but working smart is very, very important, even more important. So when I say working smart, it means that in a very, very structured manner, you spend your time. You not only spend your time on studies, you also spend time to relax. You spend time to even watch TV. You spend time to go out and play. So working hard is going to be important, but working smart is going to be even more important for such a competitive exam.
So, sir, in your experience, what were the common traits that you observed in those students who cracked CAT kind of exams?
See, basic intelligence is a common point. There's no replacement for the basic intelligence. But on top of basic intelligence, there are millions of basically intelligent people, but everybody still doesn't make the cut. Why? Because there is something more than the basic intelligence which is required. One is clarity, communication, confidence, and maintaining your cool even in the worst of circumstances. So these are some of the typical characteristics of a good student who will make the cut.
Nice tip and useful tip, sir, for the students. This brings me to another question, that many students, they start with very high energy, with great enthusiasm, but they tend to lose their motivation after some time. So what do you see that makes them stay consistent in their effort to achieve? For example, you must have handled with the students who may have failed in their mock tests in FMS, or who may have not really performed initially so well, but later you found them performing excellently. So
I personally believe that students start looking at the competition, either they start getting demoralized or they start thinking that, oh, I can take care of this. I think in such a situation, the student should compete with himself or herself all the time rather than competing with others. So one should always say that my competition is only with myself, and this competition is only to tell me that how hard or smart I have to work. So students have to stay focused that it is let's say that in case of NEET examination, or of 25 lakh students, only 1 lakh students or 1,50,000 students are going to get into MBBS admissions. So it means that out of every 18, 19 students, one student is going to make the cut. So in such circumstances, the competition and motivation, self-motivation has to be only with the self, that I am going to make it. I don't know about the guy sitting in the next chair.
That's a very, very interesting and insightful observation, sir, because as we have seen in the last 2 years in the NEET UG exam, students were really bogged down by the target score. They were looking at, okay, if we score 650, we will get a government medical college. If we get 600, we will get a government medical college. But as you have very
this is a common misnomer among the students, teachers, as well as the parents. And most of the coaching center people, center coaches may also not be aware of it. All competitive examinations are guided, are governed by a percentile and not a percentage score. So absolute scores really don't matter. What matters is that what is your rank, what is your percentile score in the competitive exam. For example, suppose we have to take, let's say, 100 students, and we take 100 students from the top. Now the topper may be only scoring about 60% marks, or the topper could be scoring 95% marks. Topper is number 1. That is percentile score 0, 100 percentile. So that is why it is very important for the parents to understand that absolute score is a must, is important, but not is a must to in the competitive exams, because the absolute score will also vary depending upon the level of difficulty from year to year, the kind of examiners and the paper setting which has been done from year to year. It may keep on varying. So a student may get 89% scores or 95% score and still may not be getting a rank lower than 1 lakh, and vice versa is also true.
Brings me to the very immediate connected question, that yes, you have very rightly said that it is all about competing yourself, but let's understand and accept the fact that NEET or any such competitive exam is going to be highly unpredictable, and this puts a lot of pressure on the student. So in your experience, sir, what do you think is the main differentiator from a topper and a dropper, that how do they handle the pressure?
I think the role of the parents and the role of the student and the role of the family is going to play is going to be very, very significant. The family has to play a role that it's, we should not be creating undue pressure on the child that you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do that. And also a mental training how to stay calm in a situation like NEET exam, those 3 hours is very, very important. Food habits are going to be important. Even emotional training of the kid is going to be very, very important, that come what may, you're going to maintain your calm. Because one thing is certain, if you may spoil your test on the day of the test, but if you are not going to maintain your calm, you will surely spoil the test.
That's a great.
So maintaining your calm it gives you a great possibility that even with lesser preparation, you could be doing much better.
That's really great, sir. And in fact, with this now, I would like to bring in a very interesting analogy, that you teach students to take decisions under pressure. A CEO is under tremendous pressure, and then his efficiency comes from the decisions that he make. And similarly, a doctor has to perform under pressure. So what do you think that, sir, how can you train some student to develop that resilience so that he can perform and he can maintain that calmness in the test center?
I think it is with understanding that things which are within my control, things which are not within my control is important. And for that, every child has to start learning that what is within my domain, what is not within my domain. So this only, the kids will learn this only with some kind of counseling which is required to be done. That okay, this you must keep on wasting your energy on, this you must not keep on wasting your energy on. This is very, very crucial even for the managers, for the doctors, I've seen there's certain, I've seen that most of the good doctors, whether they are cardiac surgeons, whether they are, neuro, whether they are, ortho, I've seen most of them, the people who are top leaders in their field, they're very, very cool and calm people. They even tell the patient on face that I'm only trying, rest is up to the God. So the moment somebody says that I'm only trying, that means the person is very, very calm and well settled in his thought process or her thought.
In fact, that brings me very interestingly that FMS also has a program, sir, HCA program, wherein you are teaching doctors there.
Yeah.
So, sir, you have like both the segments who are performing under the pressure. On one hand, the CEOs and the doctors. So what is the commonality that you find in both of them?
I think one is the maturity. Second is somewhere certainty what things will happen if they play cool. Things will happen if they play cool. It's not that everybody is cool. There are people who are very, very hyper. They're hyper. But that does not necessarily mean that being hyper is actually helping them out. I've seen, somebody being hyper and committing a mistake in the classroom itself, offending even their own class fellows. But as far as doctors are concerned, most of them, I've seen them very, very calm and cool people.
That's very useful for the students, sir. So you teach students to perform under pressure. You teach students to take decisions under duress. So how do you help them learn that how can they overcome their setbacks? And why I'm asking this question, sir, because many students who are aspiring for NEET, they attempt hundreds of practice tests, and not every practice test goes the way they want that to be. So how do you train your students to handle the failure?
I think once again, they need to understand that whenever there was a circumstances where they became hyper, even to some extent, to some percentage, did actually help them.
So are you
Yeah. So, being calm, being very clear, being focused, and not unnecessarily competing with the entire world is the key to all these things. Competition is there, everybody knows that we are competing, but one is competing in true sense and second is only competing on the surface of it. Third, I think we should never tell a lie to ourselves. Sometimes the kids only try to satisfy the requirements, maybe mostly ego requirement of the parents, that our child is preparing for NEET, but inside they know that they are not. So somewhere the child has to sit down and make up their mind that I am preparing for the NEET for myself and not for my parents. Parents are there, family is there, secondary, but ultimately one should be selfish to that extent that I'm doing it for myself. I want to be a doctor and I want to be a good doctor. So that I think is important.
That's really, really inspirational, sir. And before actually bringing down to the close of this discussion, I would like to have kind of final guru mantras to the student. If you were to give the 3 words for students to bring a change in their approach towards NEET UG, what those 3 words will be, sir?
I think first and foremost is stay cool. Number 2, have clarity about where you're going. Third, I would like to believe that do compete with your contemporaries, but first compete with yourself on a daily basis. When you say I have taken 100 marks, it means that your previous mark and today's mark is also a competition. You're competing with the previous mark. So your every mark, every successive mark, you should keep on improving upon a bit by bit. I mean, I'm reminded of that particular equation when you say 1.01. So if you change 1% every day, you end up somewhere else. But if you go down by 1% every day, you actually go very, very down deep. So I would recommend that the children aspirants of the NEET UG should focus on a gradual improvement on a daily basis, spending very, very structured time and staying calm, and try to develop good habits of sleep, good habits of food. And subject coaching is very, very important, no doubt about it. There is absolutely no replacement for that. But are you sure that everybody who is coached well in subjects is the one who comes to the top 100 cuts or maybe the top 1000 ranks? Not necessarily. So that is where the personality traits of the kids and the family also, they start playing a role. One is how to stay cool. There are students who will travel by a local transport bus, reach the center, sweating when they enter the center, but they will still make the cut. And there are students who will be driven by not only mom and dad, and a younger brother and younger sister in an air-conditioned car, right, with all kind of vegetable sandwiches and everything, being fed right up to the gate of the examination center, and still may not be able to make the cut. So what is the difference? Difference is internal calmness somewhere.
Great, sir. I think the 3 words that you discussed, the calmness, clarity, and competing with self, are kind of 3 guru mantras for every NEET UG aspirant. I'm sure every student who is watching this podcast can gain immense value from the experience and from the learnings that you have shared here. And I'm sure as you have rightly said, that with the topping up of the academic coaching, with the right behavioral mentoring, the student can learn to perform best on the exam day. Thank you, Dr. Singla.
All the best to all the kids.
It was wonderful, sir, talking to you. It's always a delight to have your pearls of wisdom on the subject, and I really thank you on behalf of all the students and all the parents.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks.